The alien probe that visited us in 2017 left a message for the scientific community and humanity, Harvard professor of astronomy claims. Harvard professor Avi Loeb believes that an alien probe visited our system, an interstellar comet probe, in 2017, and it brought a message to the academic community. It was an unremarkable day, October 2017, when Canadian astronomer Robert Wirk made the astonishing discovery. Thanks to the data from the University of Hawaii's Pan-STARR 1 telescope at the Kaleakala Observatory, Hawaii, Wirk saw an unusual elongated object about the size of a football field screaming through the solar system at a whopping 196,000 miles away. And the strangest thing of all was that it seemed to be speeding up slightly, pushed by an invisible force that has yet to be fully explained. Its highly unusual trajectory caused it to pass our sun, leading scientists to believe that the space object, later referred to as Umwamwa, meaning explorer in the Hawaiian language, was the first visitor from outside our solar system to be observed directly. And over the past years, countless attempts have been made to explain the unprecedented features of Umwamwa. Some speculate that it was a hydrogen iceberg, while others suggest that it was a traveling space rocket covered in a layer of organic sunscreen, quote unquote. For Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist and professor of science at Harvard University, the answer could be tantalizing. Their controversial argument is that Umwamwa may have been a probe sent by an alien civilization, an explanation that has attracted enormous media attention and unsurprisingly proved division among experts. And his new book entitled Alien, The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, Avi Loeb explores his provocative hypothesis using the story of Umwamwa to lay the groundwork for a much larger conversation. The struggle to be taken seriously within a scientific community that has historically maintained the discussion around the search for the existence of remote terrestrial intelligence. During an interview with Futurism, Avi Loeb argued that the scientists' explanations fell short of explaining the many quirks and eccentricities of Umwamwa. The scientific community advocated for something that we've never seen before, he said. An example of this was that what Loeb called the dust rabbit hypothesis, which theorizes that Umwamwa's strange trajectory could be explained by very low density. The problem with that is I don't think something the size of a football field, that is a dust bunny, would survive a journey of millions of years through interstellar space, Loeb said. Aspirating that hypothesis, I just don't think it can stick together, he said. For Loeb, the scientific explanations that tried to include Umwamwa in an existing scientific framework simply did not make sense. The point is, on the one hand, you can't say it's natural, argued Loeb, and then when you try to explain it with natural processes, you come up with something we've never seen before. And that's how it ended up in aliens. The root of Loeb's alien theory is that Umwamwa may have been a solar sail sent to us from another star system. In the simplest terms, a solar or dinghy sail is a form of propulsion of a spacecraft that converts the low pressure of solar radiation into motion. Earth scientists have already experimented with the concept. In 2019, the non-profit Planetary Society launched a craft called LightSail 2, which uses 340 square feet of an extremely thin layer of reflective polyester film to gradually propel itself. For Loeb, a solar sail pushed by starlight could explain the unexpected acceleration of Umwamwa. If it is solid and not a dust rabbit, the astrophysicist concluded that the interstellar visitor must also be surprisingly thin, perhaps by his calculations less than a millimeter thick. For the astronomer, the conclusion of the solar sail was to follow the steps like Detective Sherlock Holmes. When you rule out all other possibilities, Whatever you have left must be the truth. And that conclusion is an exaggeration for many astronomers in the field who have repeatedly challenged Loeb's conclusions. In a 2019 study published in the journal Nature Astronomy, an international team of researchers argued that they found no compelling evidence to favor an extraterrestrial explanation for Oumuamua. Oumuamua's properties are considered consistent with the natural origin. University of Maryland astronomer Matthew Knight, co-author of the study, told Reuters at the time. He said, an extraterrestrial explanation is not warranted. And their argument was that Oumuamua is a planetesimal or small fragment of a planetary building block that has just drifted through our solar system. Werik, who discovered the object in the first place, had no kind words for Loeb's hypothesis. He said, honestly, that's a bit wild speculation. I think it's a remnant of another solar system, added Werke. And it's just something that happened to us once by chance. And we were very lucky to have been operating the telescope at night and looking in that direction. These rebuttals appear to have emboldened Loeb's investigations into Oumuamua's extraterrestrial origins, as well as leading him to make a passionate plea to the scientific community, as outlined in his book, to take SETI research seriously. For Loeb, it's about reading the stars with an open mind. My guiding principle is modesty, he told Futurism. If we are not arrogant, if we are modest, we would say that life as we have it must be common. We now know that the Kepler satellite data that about half of the sun-like stars have a planet like Earth, roughly the same distance, so it can have liquid water and the chemistry of life as we know it, Loeb said, referring to the habitable zone of the star system within which life could theoretically actually be supported. And this is on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.